Save on Cox Internet when you add Cox Mobile and get fiber-powered internet at home and unbeatable 5G reliability on the go. So whether you're playing a game at home,
yes, goal,
or attending one live, you can do more without spending more. Learn how to save at cox.com/internet. Cox Internet is connected to the premises via coaxial cable. Cox Mobile runs on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability as measured by Ookla LLC in the U.S. to H 2023. Results may vary, not an endorsement. Other restrictions apply.
Call from mom. Answer it. Call silenced.
Instacart knows nothing gets between you and the game. That's why they make ordering from your couch easy. Stock up today and get all your groceries for the week delivered in as fast as 30 minutes without missing a minute of the game.
You have 47 new voicemails.
Download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 per order. Additional terms apply.
Now, with the MLB app, you can get baseball your way. Pick your favorite team, your favorite players, and get customized highlights, stories, and breaking news right on your home feed. Follow the action with Game Day, where 3D replays add another dimension. Plus, notifications can keep you connected to every pitch, every hit, every game. The MLB app. Baseball your way. Download it now for free from the App Store or Google Play. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Jaylon Thompson joins us from the Kansas City Star. He is that newspaper's Royals beat writer. Royals off today, but of course I asked Jaylon to come on the show, and he gladly obliged. We appreciate it, Jaylon. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing? It's always fun to, chat with you guys today.
Well, we appreciate that. As you know, my son Jeff, who's my co-host here on the show, is a devout Cleveland Guardians fan. So when I told him we were going to talk to you today, his reaction was, I don't want to talk to Jaylon because the Guardians have the Royals coming into Cleveland for the 3-game set tomorrow. So I apologize if he's rude.
Yeah, I'll be a little standoffish today, Jaylon, if you don't mind.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
So that win yesterday to salvage the 3rd game against the Padres was a big one for Kansas City, I feel. They've been scuttling a little bit for really the first time this season. How big was that win in your estimation?
I think it was probably the most important win of the season to this point, because when you look at how the Royals have played, they haven't been swept yet, and they were on the verge of getting swept on Sunday. And look at the landscape of their schedule coming up. You mentioned the Cleveland Guardians, but after that you have the Seattle Mariners, the New York Yankees, and the Los Angeles Dodgers all pretty much lined up. So it was very important to get a victory on Sunday, to have some momentum to go into this monumental series against the Cleveland Guardians this week, and also to pretty much kind of right the ship after you've lost 6 of 7 in the last week or so.
Jaylon, I can't remember. Is this your first or second year on the beat?
So this is my first full year on the beat. I started last year in May, so it's going good so far.
Okay, because I was going to ask you, obviously there have been a lot of personnel changes and a lot of improvement has come from that. But what do you notice maybe intangibly with this team that's different from last year? Just guys acted with more confidence? Because like you said, they hadn't been swept last year. This year, they came back to win yesterday, and maybe probably a game that they would have lost last year. So what are maybe the things behind the box score that you're seeing that are different?
Like I think what Matt Cottrell Q says all the time, it's all about being relentless. That's his word to describe his team. They're relentless. They fight to the last out. And I think a lot of that goes back to the veterans that they brought in this year. You look at Adam Frazier's and the Hunter Renfro's and Seth Lugo and Michael Walker's of the world, the Will Smith. A lot of those guys, they have been there. They know what it takes to get to the postseason. They know what it takes to win in the postseason. And last year's team, you didn't really have that. You had a lot of young guys that were trying to find their way. So the things like if you get down 3 or 4 runs early in the game, you pretty much knew that the Royals probably wasn't going to come back. last year. This is not the same team as it was in 2023 as it is in 2024. More veteran-laden, another year for a lot of the younger core, and they've shown that they will do whatever it takes to try to win a baseball game, and that's why a lot of these games have come down to the wire at the end.
Talking the Royals with Jaylon Thompson from the Kansas City Star. Of course, we all know Bobby Witt, Salvador Perez, those guys are having all-star seasons. Vinny Pasquantino, when he's been healthy, has been a very good player, too, in that offense. Nelson Velasquez has shown some signs of life of late. How important is it to the Royals that MJ Melendez or Hunter Renfroe, or preferably both, start to produce at the level of expectation, because neither has?
Yeah, they need both of those guys to produce at the level they're capable of, especially with them holding the corner outfield spots, because those are two positions where you need that consistent hitting and power to be on display. Because if they can get just one of those guys to hit at the level that they're capable of, like a Hunter Renfroe, for example, if he can get back to hitting the 20 home runs that he has made a staple of his career doing, that just deepens the lineup much more, and it allows them to have more of a consistent threat in the bottom third, that 6, 7, 8 part of the lineup. And I think that the Royals are just going to keep giving them opportunities to show they can do that. Same thing with MJ Melendez in left field. I mean, I believe he's hitting like 160 right now. And there are times when you see him swinging the bat, and it's like, does he know what he's doing up there? A lot. I mean, because he's just off. His timing's off. Then there are other times where he can connect and he can hit the ball into the concourse like he did in Minnesota last week. So it just depends on how he's swinging that day. So they got to get more production out of both of those guys if they really want to go where they want to go.
Jaylon, it seems like, and I don't know if it just seems like, it probably just is, that, from the catching position, there isn't a ton of offense these days. You get, your Will Smiths and your JT Realmutos and some other guys. But how important is having maybe the best catching situation in baseball for the Royals? The fact that Freddie Fermin has stepped up and played a number of games so Salvi can play first base or DH, and then obviously Salvador himself producing the way he has. That's a huge advantage that they have on other teams.
Yeah, and I think I'm glad you brought that up too, because Freddie Fermin, he doesn't get a lot of shine from a lot of the media, but he is a glue guy as well. And if you see what he can do, his ability to just come step in and get solid contact. He's a great bunter as well. We saw that on Sunday when he had a bunt for a base hit. And when Salvi goes down or has to go to first base or anything like that, Freddie steps right on in, and the team doesn't miss a beat. He's just as connected as Salvi is with the pitching staff, and I think that the more opportunities he gets, the better that he rounds into form and he gets that rhythm going. And I think we kind of seen it a little bit where they would have Vinny Pasquantino as designated hitter, Salvi at first base, Freddie behind the plate. So there's times where you've seen both of them in the lineup at the same point, and I think that the Royals, they understand what they have in Freddie. They understand what they have in their strong catching group, and they want to deploy it. So it's just a matter of, can they keep it going?
Jaylon Thompson with us from the Kansas City Star. We're talking about the Royals. They are 4 games behind Cleveland right now in the American League Central, but they have virtually the same run differential as Cleveland. You mentioned this difficult upcoming schedule for the Royals. The next 13 games are against Cleveland, Seattle, the Yankees, and the Dodgers. How important is it for the Royals to at least stay within striking distance of Cleveland over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think it's really important, and I think this series that begins on Tuesday is important to set the tone, because this is going to be the first time that the Royals and Guardians have played this year, and it's kind of odd that we're in the June and they haven't played in their division rivals. But that there's a lot of games that's going to be between both of them, and if you want to win the American League Central, you have to win the head-to-head matchups. And I think that's why the Cleveland series is probably the most important one. The next 4 that are coming up. If you can stay in contention with the Guardians and you play well against those teams, like you played Seattle before, and you know they have the pitching. You know what the Yankees are going to bring with the offense with Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, and you know the Dodgers have Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and those are just the top elite teams. So I think if you can just stay in competitive with those teams and you take care of business against the Guardians and the Mariners, you will be in a good spot. If I'm looking at the Royals and the stretch they're going to be on.
Because while the Royals are playing Cleveland and then that difficult schedule we've talked about, after this series, Cleveland has Miami, Cincinnati, Toronto, and Seattle, and then another series with Toronto. So a much easier go of it for Cleveland over the next 2 weeks. Go ahead, Jeff.
So, Jaylon, you always hear that, we're not going to put extra stock in these games. They're all just one game, and it is June after all. But do you think that would be the healthy viewpoint for the Royals? Do you think they should maybe say or admit that they are putting a little bit extra into these games because it could decide their, summer fate?
Yeah, I know for a fact that the Royals are going to say, it's just one day at a time, and they're just trying to win just that day. But if you look at it as a Royals fan and you're watching games, you know that this series with the Guardians is circled on the calendar because of how great they have gotten off to a start of the 2024 season, and just as the Royals have as well. Like I said, the head-to-head matchups are so important when it comes down to trying to win a division. And it looks like that the Royals are going to be in the thick of things with the Guardians and the Twins as well. So I think that this series is uber important for many reasons, and I wouldn't be surprised. The way it lines up, you're going to have Seth Lugo and you're going to have Brady Singer the first 2 days, and we'll see what they do on Thursday now that Michael Wacha is on the injury list. But you got your best pitchers going, and I think that's not by design, too, because it allows them to potentially see if they can win a series.
Jaylon Thompson with us. It's also interesting because I don't know the last time the Royals have been preparing for a series of this magnitude. It's been a long time. It's been probably since 2015 that people were this peaked for a series that the Royals are going to be playing. I want to ask you before we let you go about Salvador Perez, because the guy is ageless and he's having a remarkable year. He's going to be on the All-Star team again. He's still in the hunt, as far as I'm concerned, for American League MVP, although right now I'd probably have to say Juan Soto would be the front runner. But you watch Salvador play each day. What do you see from that guy? Why is he still able to perform at this level at his age? And he's not an old man, but for a catcher, he is.
It's the love of the game. It's the passion that, he brings to the field each and every day. When you look at how Salvi plays the game, he plays it in a way where it's just fun. It's like he's like a kid, and he gets to live out his dream. And he never gets too high, he never gets too low, in wins and losses. And that rubs off on his teammates too, where you have the Salvi splashes where he splashes his teammate after every victory at home or on the road. I think that fuels him, because he doesn't look at it as like, oh, I'm getting older. He looks at it as I'm getting better, I'm getting wiser every time that I step out on that field. And you can see it in his numbers this year. The Royals started winning, and you see how his numbers have taken. He has the next step. He has a pep in his step. And I think I mentioned to you the last time I was on the show, but he was like, he saw his former teammates from the 2014 and 2015 team. They're all retired, and he doesn't want to go there yet. He doesn't want to retire yet. He still thinks he has a couple more years left in him. And I think he's proven it on the field.
All right. We really appreciate you coming on to talk about the Royals. Again, a big series starting tomorrow night in Cleveland with the Guardians. You can hear all three of those games right here on KFH. Jaylon, thank you very much.
Have fun in Cleveland.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Save on Cox Internet when you add Cox Mobile and get fiber-powered internet at home and unbeatable 5G reliability on the go. So whether you're playing a game at home,
Yes, goal.
or attending one live, you can do more without spending more. Learn how to save at cox.com/internet. Cox Internet is connected to the premises via coaxial cable. Cox Mobile runs on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability as measured by Ookla LLC in the U.S. 2H 2023. Results may vary, not an endorsement. Other restrictions apply.
Everybody knows it. Toyota trucks are the stuff of legends. Rugged, durable, everlasting. Toyota makes trucks that just don't quit. And now Toyota is driving that legacy toward the future with two of their most powerful trucks ever, the new Tundra and the all-new Tacoma. In a half-ton Tundra, you can rule the roads. From the comfort of a spacious cabin with connected tech and plenty of hauling power, the Tundra is ready to work hard and play even harder. Or check out the all-new 24 Tacoma, redesigned and electrified to maximize your adventure. With a bevy of available off-road driving and power transfer modes, you will effortlessly crush the conditions. And with the Tacoma's reimagined interior, you'll do it in style. And right now, your local Toyota dealer has more vehicles in stock and is making delivery on new vehicles almost every day. So don't wait. Buy a Tundra or Tacoma today. Visit buyatoyota.com for deals and more. Toyota, let's go places.
I met a guy recently who told me that he spends roughly $250,000 a month. I talked to another person recently who made $50 million at the age of 30. What do you do with that money? How do you spend it? How do you not spend it? What do you invest in? If you meet a rich person, these are questions everyone wants to know, but you're too embarrassed to ask. That's the whole premise of MoneyWise. We talk to real people who have made a significant amount of money, and we ask them all about their finances. My name's Sam Parr, and the podcast is called MoneyWise. That's one word, MoneyWise. You can find MoneyWise wherever you get your podcasts.